The Olympics happened apparently. Hi guys, welcome back to another video. I am your host, William Evans. I just got back from Tokyo, where I was lucky enough to be one of NBC's on-air commentators for the Olympics. That's not true, but NBC had over 170 commentators this year, so if I didn't say anything, you probably would have believed me. I could probably make a 10-minute video just on them, but they already got their screen time. It's my time to shine. Today, we are looking into what in the world made these Olympics so utterly terrible. These Olympics were always going to be a disaster. So let's pick up in this year, 2021, because I think that all of us would like to forget that 2020 ever happened. Unless your name is Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, and apparently the Olympics for some reason, because even though the games are being played this year, again, the year 2021, the Olympics thought, no, let's just confuse everyone for the rest of human history. Great, we've got a year to hold the events, kind of. Now we just need some athletes to compete. We'll go ahead and take you and you and you and you and you and you and you. Actually, no, you're not allowed. Okay, well, fine. Just don't make it obvious. You gotta change it up. So back in 2017, the Olympics placed a 4-year ban on Russia competing in the Olympics, both summer and winter. Reason for doing so is, much like 1999's Mark McGuire, they were roided up. Over a quarter of the athletes on Russia's teams were banned from competing in the Olympics, and those who could compete would have to compete under the Russian Olympic Committee designation, or ROC. But the ROC still placed third in total medals this year, so basically they got off easier than OJ. The first time. Great job, comrades. All right. We've got the athletes. Now we just need somewhere for them to live and eat and, sleep. Probably the most well-known scandal from this year's games were the anti-sex cardboard beds that were set up in athletes' rooms. Because, yeah, the greatest athletes in the world aren't going to figure out how to hook up without being horizontal. Okay, so they weren't actually anti-sex beds. They were just made out of cardboard so that they could more easily be recycled. There have been plenty of videos of athletes jumping up and down on the beds to show that they're very strong and can hold the weight of 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7. Also, the new beds were announced back in January of 2020, so I don't think COVID was the reason for all of this. Just trying to be eco-friendly. Fun fact, the Olympics back in 2016 handed out over 450,000 condoms. This year, 150,000. So, in 9 months, if you see a bunch of newborns absolutely shredded, there's your answer. Okay, so we got the year, we got the athletes, we've got their accommodations. Now, how do we get people to watch them so we can make money? Ooh, we could make it really simple and really easy to watch. Just have dedicated live coverage on NBC and the NBC Sports streaming app. That's how Fox does it for the World Cup, or how CBS does it for NCAA March Madness. Get out. We're putting this shit on Peacock. Good old Peacock. The place to flock for the game's best moments. I see what you did there, NBC. Is clever. Except it's not. A group of peacocks is called a pride. A pride? Really? What if they had just, replaced the lions in The Lion King with peacocks? I don't think that movie would have worked. Never mind. That was just as horny. And that was a kid's movie. What? Why was it so horny? We're off the rails here. Let's get back to the video. Good old Peacock. The streaming service nobody asked for and everyone hates. That's right. This was just another NBC slander video in disguise. I gotcha. NBC, I'm sorry, but stop making stupid decisions and I'll stop making videos about them. Now, it's always difficult to broadcast an Olympics, especially one halfway around the world where none of the major events are happening during American prime time. But NBC, don't use that as an excuse to push your shitty version of Disney Plus. Nobody wants it. You know, it seems like it would be important that if you're paying billions of dollars to air the biggest sporting event in the world every 4 years, that you would make it pretty easy for people to watch said sporting event. People are generally pretty stupid, and so fans couldn't figure out when the events they wanted to watch aired, what channel they were on, and whether or not they even had the right subscription tier to Peacock so that they could watch them. Now, NBC has complained about the perfect storm of circumstances here leading to their low ratings, but NBC, you did this to yourself. You didn't even stream the opening ceremonies on Peacock. It's the biggest part of the event. What are you doing? The biggest part is on a reasonable time too. 7 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Central, like a Disney movie. NBC, you got exactly 6 months to get your shit together before the 2022 Olympic Winter Games. Better get started now. Otherwise, your ratings are going to be so low, you're going to have to give away free advertising again. Yeah, that's a real thing that happened because none of the people who bought advertising space during the Olympics saw positive ROI. Because no one was watching it because there was nothing to watch. Which is surprising because even when there was stuff on, you were playing ads during the events and cutting out the commentary so no one can listen. I just can't anymore. The Olympics are one of the best events ever, and it happens every 4 years. You would think they would understand how to do this. The Olympics deserve better than the streaming service that only exists because people like me couldn't stop watching The Office on Netflix. I don't understand why NBC thinks they can play with the big dogs. Because I'm part of the problem here, and you probably are too, also want to be part of the solution. So here's a ton of moments from the Olympics that you may or may not have heard of, but they definitely deserve to be recognized. Were first and foremost, the U.S. won the Olympics again, having over 100 medals, the only country to do so. We had 39 golds. And I'm proud to be an American. Second, Allison Felix became the most decorated woman in U.S. athlete in track and field history. She picked up the gold in the women's 4x400, bringing her total medal count to 11. Amazing. Third, you had two high jumpers sharing the gold medal. These guys competed for hours, but neither one of them bested each other, and instead of heading into a tie-breaking jump, they just decided, hey, let's share the gold. And the Olympics said yes. I think that's awesome. 4, you had Caleb Dressel take home 5 gold medals in swimming. That's awesome. He came into these Olympics having no individual medals and left picking up 3 in individual events and picking up another 2 in relays. Then you had the runner who fell down during the 1500 meter race and then got back up and won.
Here comes the bell. Well, they come to the bell. Bill, 59.2, the final lap in the first heat. Going to go to sit round. There's a fall on Hassan. 5,000 final. Ellie Purrier St. Pierre out in front. Here comes Hassan. And a pretty staggering last lap after going down. Hull is there as well, and your top 6 coming through in one big bunch.
You had baseball coming back to the Olympics. You had skateboarding and karate making their debuts. And you had India winning their first gold medal in track and field. I mean, it was the javelin, but still counts. And there you have it. The 2020 Summer Olympics in 2021. Just call it the 2021 Olympics. This really didn't need to be that difficult. It's so easy. Just change the year to the year it happened in. If I missed your favorite part of the Olympics, feel free to drop it down in the comments. I probably did because couldn't figure out how to watch the damn thing. It was an absolute mess, but at the same time, it was amazing. And it made me excited for the 2022 Winter Olympic Games. Mostly because Bachelor Winter Games is coming back, baby. Canceled? What do you mean it got canceled? And hot people trying to ice skate. What more do you want? Well, never mind. I'm already off to a bad start. Anyways, thanks for sticking through to the end here, guys. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. And if you don't,
you're dead to me, just like NBC.
Bye.